Engines pumping and thumping in time. The green light flashes, the flags go up. Churning and burning, they yearn for the cup. They deftly maneuver and muscle for rank. Fuel burning fast on an empty tank. Reckless and wild, they pour through the turns. Their prowess is potent and secretly stern. As they speed through the finish, the flags go down.
My name is Christopher Reed, and I'm currently lead programmer at Raven. I've been here 12 years now. I started in 2000, right out of college. I've been interested in programming since I was a kid, really. My dad had a Timex Sinclair. It's like one of those old computers. You recorded your games to like a tape drive, a cassette tape, you know. And he taught me how to program in BASIC when I was like 7 or 8. Then I got a Commodore 64, and then I started making games on my own. And then I got an Amiga, which was a fantastic leap forward graphically. So I made all kinds of Final Fantasy-esque games and things like that. So yeah, I've been into programming ever since I was a kid. There was a little while where I thought I might want to be an architect or an engineer or something, but most of the time it was always about programming. The first big game I made on the Amiga, it took place in ancient Egypt. It was this top-down perspective, and I researched the actual map of the Valley of the Kings and where all the tombs were and how the tombs were laid out, and I built them in fake 3D. It would sort of draw sprites going off into the distance at smaller sizes, and like you could move one square at a time, like some of those old adventure games. I did my first 2 years at the university in my hometown in Waukesha. It's a 2-year extension of the University of Wisconsin system. I got my associate's degree there, and then I sort of did a bunch of the basic stuff, anthropology, sociology, that sort of stuff there. And then I came here to Madison, to the University of Wisconsin-Madison, to finish my 4-year education and get my degree in computer science. As soon as I got my degree, even technically before I finished my degree, I applied at Raven, and I sent my tapes of my previous work. So they wanted an AI specialist for Soldier Fortune 2, and that's basically why they hired me. So it was a combination of being in the right place at the right time and having all my stuff. I just built up this whole library of content that I was able to show, and I was able to prove I can make these things. Programmers do a lot of the behind-the-scenes work. We make sure that when you shoot your gun, the game predicts where your bullet will go and detects when it hits just the right thing. Programmers also do a lot of the setup of more complex scenes, and this is something that's become more important over the last 5 years or so, I'd say. It used to be sort of the case that you could set up a game and you could physically build out a level and you could drop some monsters in it and say, okay, player, here you go. You get from A to B, fight some monsters along the way, and you're done. But these days, players expect really complex, very heavily tuned environments with complex events that occur during the game. You don't just walk down a hallway and shoot some monsters. You walk down a hallway and they come at you from specific directions, and then the lights flicker over here, and then the window shatters out and a guy jumps in, and every one of those sort of unique encounters has to be manually designed and built, and they are generally programming. Programmers and designers, and to a lesser extent artists, work together all the time. You're constantly talking to each other about everything. When I first started here, the departments were very segmented, and the designers had their job, they built the level, and the programmers had their job, and they made the AI, and occasionally they had to talk to each other, but not much. And these days, it's completely the opposite. It's completely different. We have to talk to, and we want to talk to, all the guys from all the departments all the time. New programmers, I strongly recommend you go to college. There are a number of colleges now that specifically provide a game design, game programming focus, and those are good. We've hired a number of people from those, but to be honest, I still think a general education at a general university is also good, if not better. There's something to be said for having that wide breadth of experience and depth of knowledge, and being able to say that you were able to handle everything that college can throw at you. I would also recommend working on something outside of school, outside of anything. Just do it on your own, because this job is difficult enough. We really need people who are so motivated that they are willing to do it in their spare time instead of watch TV or play other games. Playing other games is great, but making a game yourself is really an experience you should have before you apply at a game studio. Overcoming challenges. It's about finding, a lot of times we get relatively easy things and you just sort of plow through them. And those are great, you get them done and move on. What I really like, though, are the moments where you've been spending weeks trying to solve a problem, and it just keeps dodging you in various ways, and things come up that you don't expect, and then you nail it. Eventually, you do, and it's very rewarding. It's just that moment where you're like, got it.
He's going the distance. He's going for speed.